The story of a young lady named Grace. She lived in a small town in Africa. Grace was very beautiful. Her skin was smooth like ripe mango. Her eyes shone like stars at night. Everyone in the town knew Grace. But Grace had one problem: she loved money too much. Grace didn't care if someone was kind or not. She only cared if he had money. Her friends told her, "Grace, money is not everything. Look for love and peace." But Grace always said, "I don't want to suffer. I must marry a rich man. I want to live in a big house and wear gold." One day, a kind man named David came to Grace. He was not rich, but he was honest and worked hard as a teacher. He said to Grace, "I love you. I will take care of you. I may not be rich now, but I have big dreams." Grace looked at him and laughed. "Dreams don't buy clothes. I want a man with money, not dreams," she said. David walked away, sad but calm. A few months later, a man named Henry came to town. Henry drove a big car. He wore shiny clothes and gold chains. Everyone in the town talked about Henry. They said that he is rich. He just came back from the city. He is looking for a wife. Grace's heart danced. She said to herself, "This is the man I want." Henry saw Grace and smiled. "You are very pretty," he said. Grace smiled back. "You are very rich," she said in her heart. In just 2 weeks, Henry said he wanted to marry Grace. Grace told her mother, "This is the man I will marry. He has money and I will enjoy life." Her mother looked worried. "My daughter, do you know him well?" Grace said, "I don't need to know much. I can see the car, the gold, and the money." They had a big wedding. Henry bought a big cake and spread money everywhere. Grace danced and danced. Her friends came and watched her shine like a queen. Everyone said, "Grace is lucky." After the wedding, Henry took Grace to the city. But after just 1 week, everything changed. Henry stopped smiling. He shouted all the time. He came home late. He hid his phone. He locked his room. Grace was confused. One day, Grace tried to ask him, "Henry, what is wrong?" Henry looked at her and said, "Don't ask me questions." He started beating her. Grace cried and begged. But Henry did not stop. Grace had no one in the city. She tried to call her friends, but they didn't pick up. She tried to call her mother, but Henry broke her phone. After 2 months, Henry left the house and never came back. Grace waited for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. He never returned. She had no money, no food, and no way to go back home. One night, she slept on the floor and cried, "Why did I follow money? Why did I not listen?" She remembered David. She remembered his words, "I love you. I will care for you." Grace cried until her pillow was wet. She decided to leave the house. She begged for transport and returned to her hometown. People looked at her with pity. Some laughed. Some said, "We warned her." Grace was ashamed. Her clothes were torn. Her body was thin. Her eyes were red. She went to her mother's house and fell on her knees. "Mama, I'm sorry. I made a big mistake." Her mother hugged her and cried, "You are alive. That is all that matters." Days passed. Grace stayed inside. She was too ashamed to go out. But one day, her old friend Rita came to visit. Rita said, "Grace, I know you are sad. But sitting inside won't help you. Come with me tomorrow." "Where to?" Grace asked. "To church," Rita said. Grace didn't want to go. But she said yes. The next day, they went to a small church at the edge of town. The people there sang and danced. They looked happy. The pastor preached about love and hope. He said, God can turn your sorrow into praise. Those words touched Grace. She began to cry. She prayed, God to give me another chance. From that day, she started going to church every Sunday. She joined the choir. She cleaned the church. She helped the poor. People started noticing her. Her smile came back. Her skin began to glow again. One Sunday after service, a man walked up to her. He was gentle and had a kind face. Hello, he said. My name is Mark. I've seen you many times in church. You have a good heart. Grace smiled shyly. Thank you. Mark was a manager for bank. He didn't wear gold or drive a big car. But he was kind and full of joy. He didn't talk too much, but when he spoke, his words were true. Mark and Grace became friends. They talked every week after church. Months passed. One day, Mark said, Grace, I know your past. But I see your heart. I want you to be my wife. Grace was shocked. Me? After everything I did? Yes, Mark said. Everyone makes mistakes. But you have changed. You are not the same. I want to build a good life with you. Tears rolled down Grace's face. This time, they were not tears of sorrow, but tears of joy. They got married in the small church where Grace found peace. There was no big cake or loud music, but there was love and laughter. Years passed. Grace and Mark started working in the back. God blessed them with 3 children. Grace taught young girls in the village. She told them, don't follow money. Follow peace. And follow love. People in the town respected her. They said that Grace has changed. She is a woman of wisdom. One day, during a women's gathering, they called Grace to speak. She took the microphone and said, I once loved money too much. I thought money would give me joy. But it gave me sorrow. I was abandoned. I almost died. But today, I am standing strong. I have peace. I have a good husband. I have children. I have God. I now live in praise. The crowd clapped. Some people cried for her story. Her story gave them hope. And so Grace became a voice of wisdom in her town. Her past was painful, but her future was full of joy. She used her story to bless others. She no longer chased money. She chased purpose. And that brought her true happiness. After her speech at the women's gathering, many people started coming to Grace for advice. Some young girls, some married women, even some men. They all wanted to hear her story and learn from her. One morning, as Grace was sweeping the compound, a small girl named Esther ran in crying. Her clothes were torn and her face was full of tears. Grace dropped her broom and ran to her. Esther. What happened? Esther said, my mother is very sick. My father has no money. We don't have food in the house. Grace's heart broke. She said, come with me. She took Esther inside and gave her some food. Then she packed some yam, rice, and gari from her store. She followed Esther to her house. When they got there, she saw Esther's mother lying on the floor. Her eyes were closed and her body was hot. Grace didn't wait. She rushed to the church and called Mark. Get the motorcycle. We are taking her to the clinic. Mark drove them to the small clinic in town. The nurse took the woman in and treated her. They said she had malaria, but she would be fine. Grace paid the bill from her pocket. As they left, Esther hugged Grace. Thank you, Mama Grace. Grace smiled. Nobody had ever called her Mama Grace before. Her heart was warm. From that day, children started calling her that Mama Grace. She started feeding poor children every Sunday after church. Sometimes 10 came. Sometimes 20. She didn't mind. She cooked with joy. Rice, beans, soup, fruits, she gave all. People in the village began to talk. Grace has changed, they said. She is not the girl who loved money. She is now a blessing. But not everyone was happy. One woman named Alice was jealous. She used to be the most loved woman in the village. Now, everyone talked about Mama Grace. She is pretending. Alice shouted one day. She just wants people to clap for her. But Grace didn't mind. She kept doing good. One day, a man from the city came to the village. His name was Mr. Fred. He worked for a radio station. He heard about Mama Grace and wanted to record her story. They sat under the mango tree beside her house. "Tell us your story," he said. Grace looked at the camera and smiled. "I was a girl who loved money. I didn't care about love or truth. I married a rich man who beat me and left me. I came home empty. But God gave me a second chance. Now, I live for others." The video was played on the radio and online. Many people listened. Some cried. Some sent letters to the church. 1 week later, Grace got a phone call. "Hello? Is this Mama Grace?" "Yes. This is Miss Ruth from City Children's Center. We heard your story. We want to give you an award for being a mother to the poor." Grace gasped. "Me?" "Yes. Please come to the city this Friday." Grace told Mark. He lifted her and spun her around. "You deserve it," he said. That Friday, Grace wore her best dress, a simple green wrapper with a white blouse. Mark and the children went with her. The event was big. There were cameras, lights, and music. Many people sat in rows. Then the host called Mama Grace. "Please come forward." Grace walked slowly to the stage. "We give this award to a woman who turned her sorrow into service. Who feeds the hungry and helps the sick. Who teaches young girls to choose wisely. We call her Mama to the village." Tears filled Grace's eyes. "I thank God," she said. "I thank my husband. I thank my town. I was once lost. Now I am found." When she returned to her village, the town greeted her with drums and dance. The chief called her to the palace. He said, "You are now a blessing to our people. I give you a land to build your dream." Grace fell on her knees. "Thank you, sir." She and Mark prayed. Then they started building. 1 room became 2, 2 became 5. After 1 year, the building was ready. It was called Grace Home for Girls. There, they trained young girls to sew, bake, farm, and read. They also taught about love, faith, and respect. One girl, Mary, came to the home crying. Her uncle wanted to marry her off at age 13. "No," Mama Grace said. "She is a child. She must go to school." She called the elders. She called the police. She fought for Mary. In the end, the marriage was stopped. Mary went back to school and became one of the best students in the village. Mama Grace became famous. People from other towns came to see her. Journalists wrote her name in papers. A woman who once chased money now chased change. One day, her old friend David, the teacher who once loved her, came back to visit. He was married with children. He shook Grace's hand and smiled. "I am proud of you," he said. Grace laughed. "Thank you. I now understand what you meant back then. You have become more than I ever dreamed," he said. Later that year, something strange happened. Henry, her first husband, came back to the village. He looked different. Thin. Tired. Sad. He came to the church and waited outside. When Grace came out, he knelt before her. Please forgive me, he cried. I was foolish. I lost everything. Grace looked at him. Her heart beat fast. For a moment, she remembered the pain. The shouting. The hunger. The beatings. But then, she breathed slowly. She touched his shoulder. I forgave you long ago, she said. But my life has moved on. Henry bowed his head and walked away. Mark came out and held her hand. You did well, he said. I feel light, Grace said. I feel free. Time passed. One day, the governor of the state came to the village. He visited Grace's home for girls. He walked around and said, I want to build more centers like this. Mama Grace, can you train others? Yes, sir, she said with a big smile. And so, Grace began to travel. She went to many towns and taught women how to care, how to farm, how to feed others. She told her story again and again. Young girls listened with wide eyes. One girl said, I will never follow a man for money. Another said, I want to be like Mama Grace. Her children grew strong and wise. Her husband remained her rock. They prayed every morning, worked during the day, and ate together at night. Her mother, who once wept for her, now danced and sang. The chief gave her another land. You have done well, he said. We now call you mother of the town. Years later, on her 50th birthday, the whole village threw a big party. There were drums, gifts, and smiles. People came from other states. Mark gave a speech. My wife once fell. But she rose. She is not just my wife. She is our light. Grace stood up and looked around. She saw the young girls she helped. The women she trained. The boys she fed. The homes she built. And she said, I once chased gold and got nothing. Now I give love and have everything. The crowd shouted, Mama Grace. Mama Grace. She lifted her hands and sang. From sorrow to praise. From pain to power. I was broken. But now I bloom like a flower. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel.